Well, it's safe to say that often people take for granted or don't even know about the rich history in their own community. Western Mass and Springfield in particular played a significant role in the Underground Railroad. There are stops that we drive by every day which played a part in helping slaves move to freedom. The Pan-African Historical Museum USA, located in Tower Square, offers a walking tour complete with costumed characters who tell the amazing stories of people who escaped slavery and the stories of those who helped them. Luana Hood, the executive director of PAMUSA, and Sam Bradley, one of the actors and the director of the Gospel Cafe, give us a preview of the walking tour.
We always start at the fort. Now, the reason why we started the fort doesn't have anything to do with the Underground Railroad. It has to do with the presence of African Americans being in Springfield before the Underground Railroad. Pynchons came to the city in 1636. The first African American is documented in 1650, which is Peter Schwimett. And when the city burned down, Schwimett helped to rebuild it. And we also want to give recognition to Joseph Cutt and Caesar Merrick. These are two African Americans that lived in Wilbraham in the 1700s. Joseph Cutt was free, Caesar Merrick wasn't, but both of them fought in the Revolutionary War. We also want to give recognition to Freeman Price, who also was able to fight in the Civil War because of Justin Morgan, who is a descendant of Miles Morgan. They were involved in a court case here in the city that got him his freedom so he could fight in the Continental War. So we have history here. We have real history.
A real rich history. And I think people really don't realize how much Springfield was a player in the Underground Railroad as well. So by the late 1700s, the slave trade was outlawed in Massachusetts. Is that correct?
1783.
1780. Okay, so late 1700s. But James Lindsay Smith was a big player.
Oh, definitely.
And I know that that is the role that you play. But before we get to you, tell us who James Lindsay Smith was.
James Lindsay Smith was an African American born in slavery in Virginia. And he was treated very, very cruelly. And he got the opportunity to run away. And when he ran away, he had to go through Delaware, Maryland, Philadelphia, New York, in order to get into Massachusetts. But in Philadelphia, he met a man by the name of Simpson, who was a Quaker and an abolitionist, gave him a letter to give to David Ruggles in New York. David Ruggles was an African-American abolitionist, and he is credited with starting the first black bookstore in America. And when David Ruggles got the letter from James Lindsay Smith, he decided that he would send Smith to a Mr. Foster in Harvard, who was an African-American tailor, and to Pastor Osgood in Springfield.
Tell me about Pastor Osgood in Springfield.
Pastor Osgood was an abolitionist. He came to the city around 1808. He believed very strongly that African Americans should be free, and he was a major conductor on the Underground Railroad. That's obvious, because how does Pastor Osgood know David Ruggles? And when Pastor Osgood gets the letter from Ruggles, he says to Lindsay Smith, "We'll keep you." And Lindsay Smith is able to get a job with Rufus Elmer, who is a shoe maker, and because he had the trade of shoemaking, and he decides that, you know what, I want an education. And when he gets his education at Wilbraham and Munson, which at the time was Wesleyan, and he's roommate to John Mifflin Brown, who becomes the 11th bishop of the AME Church of African Americans in the United States.
So just huge history here. And I think we were talking before the interview, I think a lot of people wouldn't realize all of this took place right where we are. How has it been for you as an actor?
Oh, well, you know, as an actor, it's been wonderful. You know, I loved seeing the smiles on the kids' face. I love seeing the excitement that the adults have as well. And it's been wonderful.
I know that you also coordinate the music on the tour, which I think is fantastic. Tell me a little bit about what people can expect.
Okay, well, I have a company called the Gospel Cafe. Now, with the Gospel Cafe, we do music. We're a performing arts corporation. And not only do we do music, but we do drama, acting, poetry, and spoken words. And so what we do in conjunction with the Underground Railroad, not only as costume characters, but we teach people songs that they could hear if they were in the time periods of our ancestors. Songs like Wading in the Water or Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. So it's been good.
How many singers do you usually have out on the tour?
Well, on the tour, we probably have around 2 singers, okay? We don't have that many, but we, rotate people,
Yeah,
yes.
and I bet people, that's a nice, element for people who are on the tour as well,
Yes.
really to just, bring them back to that historical time period. You were talking about Reverend Osgood. He was at the Old First
Old
Church.
First Church.
Okay.
Yeah, but now Old First Church was never a station. The station was at his home.
The station was at his home.
That's right. And we will show you where his home is if you come on
The tour. So we have to be a kind of secret squirrel about some of the different sites on the tour, which I certainly understand. In 1850, when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, how did the abolitionists in Springfield respond? And I know that John Brown was part of it.
Oh, they were furious because the 1850 law was dangerous. They had other laws, but they were lax. Okay, you could get around them. There's no way that you could get around 1850. They could tell you, deputize you to get me.
Right.
Okay, so no one's free. You can't take any chances with this law. So it was very chaotic and extremely dangerous. And they took up arms, even with John Brown had left the city, but he came back and he was helping to prepare the African Americans to get ready to rise up against this law.
And how, as far as you becoming an actor, how did you become involved in doing this, and why is this so important to you?
Well, I've known Luana for quite some time now, and I was just helping out, and and she was telling me about the Underground Railroad, and I said, well, let me try to act. I feel as though that I can.
He's a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic actor.
And then I did it one time. And it was just so exciting to do that, and and I feel as though that it's just not the acting part, but it's the fact that teaching people about their history, because they really don't know some of the things that we've been going through, and so as long as they learn that knowledge, it makes me feel wonderful.
And how is it sitting next to her? She has so much knowledge. You must have learned a lot.
I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot.
I'm still learning, Caroline.
I don't believe you, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
Right.
But the great thing about it is you will actually follow him from the plantation into Springfield. Okay. The way that we have it done is that you're following him, okay? And we also incorporate food. So you might get a black-eyed pea stew. You might get some, we'll start you off with a good country breakfast. Now, that's not an Underground Railroad breakfast, because that might have been, some half-baked potato, but we'll start you off maybe with some salmon croquettes and give you a history. Salmon's not in that particular area, but why would they be eating those? You'll start off with maybe some grits, which is an adopted food for the African Americans. And you would, at 10:30, see a movie on Sojourner Truth, because as I like to say to everyone, Sojourner Truth started in Springfield first. We introduced her to Northampton.